Carrie, it's a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Great. You have sort of carved a niche for yourself, in customizable clothing, but not many fashion brands have been able to do that. Where do you think is the biggest communication challenge for fashion brands today?
So I think the biggest communication challenge for fashion brands today is oftentimes in many industries, not just the fashion industry, it's easy just to stick with the status quo. And I love the founder of this conference, Rajesh. Him and I were talking about best practices in advertising and marketing and even in fashion. And he said something great. He said, best practices are best forgotten. And when you enter fashion or you enter a new industry, it's fantastic to not see what's been done before, but to think about what could be. And that's what I was thinking about with role models, not runway models. I was not trying to see what had been done before, but I was seeing what could be. And I make clothes for professional women, so of course I'm going to promote my clothing on professional women. So I think communication lacks in fashion and other industries when you're not innovating or iterating on what's been done before.
Right. When you started out, you had a clear idea of who your customers were. They were the role models and not the runway models. So how important do you think it is for brands to know who their customers are, and how do you effectively reach out to them?
Right. I think you can't have a successful brand without truly understanding who your customer is and really honing in on a very specific customer. If you go too wide, I think you're dead in the water. And sometimes people think if they go too niche, that they're going to lose out on all these other customers. People almost get a little too customer greedy. And the irony is, if you go too wide, you'll get no one. And if you go niche, you'll be able to have a much more specific brand voice, brand identity, communication target. So the second answer to that question is, how do you reach your audience? Well, when you know who specifically your audience is, you're able to speak to them so clearly. But when you have way too wide of an audience, you have no voice. So to really identify who your audience is, and for me, it was professional women who are looking for fashion-forward clothing. Of course, there's a very specific voice there. So when you identify your audience and really, really what they need, you're able to create amazing products for them and then create a brand voice around that, and then they'll find you.
At the TED Talk, you mentioned that the beauty business is an ugly business. So do you think brands and the marketing industry has a long way to go in the way they push the realistic beauty standards?
I think there's a long way to go. There's a lot to be desired in the fashion and beauty industry. Fashion and beauty industry globally is a $1.3 trillion industry that traditionally, in the way they've marketed, have set unrealistic standards of beauty and then profited off the insecurities that they've helped create. That's been the traditional way of marketing fashion and beauty. And the old trope is sex sells. And I don't believe that. I believe now authenticity sells. And we have to get rid of this old modality of thinking and lead with freshness and lead with helping women find their own authentic versions of themselves. And people ask me, you're trying to redefine the definition of beauty. What is it? And it's beautiful. Beautiful. So fashion and beauty brands have to help women find themselves, help women be themselves.
We are living in the digital world today, where we have fashion brands even operating out of, say, Instagram. How important, or rather, how much of an impact do you think the digital landscape has made for brands today?
Oh, it's necessary. You have to go. It goes to your previous question. You have to go to where your audience is. It used to be women were shopping in stores, or people were shopping in stores. They're not anymore. They're shopping online. They're shopping on their mobile phone. Somebody was telling me a statistic here in India is 80% of online shopping is on mobile. And so you have to be where you're...
People have no time.
People have no time. People are on the go. Habits change. So you have to be where your customer is. But also you can't make a carte blanche statement of, oh, you need to be on Instagram, oh, you need to be on Snapchat, oh, you need to be here, because it depends who your customer is. My mom spends all her time on Facebook. She's like stalking to see what I'm doing. But she doesn't know I'm spending all my time on Instagram. So if you're targeting a young professional woman, maybe you need to be spending time on your Instagram content or your Instagram stories. And if you're targeting someone like my mom, you need to be spending time on your Facebook. So it goes back to really hyper niching who you're targeting, providing her amazing products that fit his or her needs, and then finding out where she is or where he is and making sure you're providing value.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, all the best, and thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, I really appreciate it.